Question 1. The numbers 1 through 15 were each written on individual pieces of paper, one number per piece. Then the 15 pieces of paper were put in a jar. One piece of paper will be drawn from the jar at random. What is the probability of drawing a piece of paper with a number less than 9 written on it? So a number less than 9 includes numbers from 1 to 8. So the number of the suitable numbers is 8. The probability formula is equal to the number of favorable outcomes divided by the number of all possible outcomes, which is 15. And the number of favorable outcomes is 8. From 1 to 8 is 8 numbers. So the probability equals 8 divided by 15. We should choose option E. Question 2. Which of the following expression is equivalent to negative 4x cubed minus 12x cubed plus 9x squared? We can tell the first terms are like terms, so we can combine them. The expression is equal to negative 16x cubed plus 9x squared. So we should choose option J. Question 5. The expression 4c minus 3d times in parentheses 3c plus d is equivalent to. So question 5. Multiply binomials. So first multiply the first term, which is 12c squared. Then multiply the outer term, which is 4c times d is 4cd. Then is the inner term 9cd. And the last term is negative 3d squared. Then combine the like term. 4cd minus 9cd is negative 5cd. So we should choose option C. Option C. Question 6. Of the 180 students in a college course, 1/4 of the students earned an A for the course, 1/3 of the students earned a B for the course, and the rest of the students earned a C for the course. How many of the students earned a C for the course? From the given information, we know 1/4 earned A, 1/3 earned B. So the fraction of students who earn and say is 1 minus 1/4 minus 1/3. Then multiply by 180. We can find the number of students earned a C for the course. So 180 times 1 minus for the fraction 1/4 and 1/3, we rewrite them by the common denominator. So 1 minus 3/12 minus 4/12. So 1 minus 3/12 minus 4/12 is 5/12. So 180 times 5/12 is 75. So we should choose option F. Question 3. 1x equals 2, 10 plus 3 times, in parentheses, 12 divided by 3x. We just need to substitute 2 for x, and we can get 10 plus 3 times 12 divided by 6. And 10 plus 3 times 12 divided by 6 is 2. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 10 is 16. Question 4. The absolute value of 6 minus 4 is 2. And the absolute value of 3 minus 8 is positive 5. So 2 minus 5 equals -3. So question 4, we should choose option J. Question 3, we choose option B. Question 7. The number of fish F in Skipper's pond at the beginning of each year can be modeled by the equation f of x equals 3 times 2 to the power of x, where x represents the number of years after the beginning of the year 2000. For example, x equals 0 represent the beginning of the year 2000. X equals 1 represent the beginning of the year 2001, and so forth. According to the model, how many fish were in Skipper's pond at the beginning of the year 2006? According to the definition of x given by the question, at the beginning of the year 2006, x should be equal to 6. So next step, we just need to substitute 6 for x and find the value of f of 6. It should be equal to 3 times 2 to the power of 6. 2 to the power of 6 equals 64 times 3 is 192. So question 7, we should choose option B. Question 8. Manish drove from Chicago to Baton Rouge. At 8 a.m., he was 510 kilometers from Baton Rouge. At 1 p.m., he was 105 kilometers from Baton Rouge. Which of the following values is closest to Manish's average speed in kilometers per hour from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m.? Velocity equals s divided by t. The distance from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. is 510 kilometers minus 105 kilometers. And the time is from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m., which is 5 hours. Then we do the calculation. We can find the velocity is equal to 81. So we should choose option H. Question 10. Katerina runs 15 miles in 2.5 hours. What is the average number of minutes it takes her to run 1 mile? So the velocity equals the distance divided by the time. In our question, the distance is 15 miles and the time is 2.5 hours. Notice that 2 times are in different units. One is hours, and the question is in minute. So we need to convert the hours into minutes. So 2.5 times 60 is the minutes. So 15 divided by 2.5 times 60. So 2.5 equals 5 over 2. 5 over 2 times 60 is 5 times 30, which is 150. 15 divided by 150 is 0.1 mile per minute. The question is, what is the average number of minutes it takes her to run 1 mile? So we need to use the formula again. Time equals the distance divided by the velocity. The distance this time is 1 mile and the velocity is 0.1 mile per minute. So 1 divided by 0.1 is 10. So we need 10 minutes. We should choose option G. Question 11. A bag contains 8 red marbles, 9 yellow marbles, and 7 green marbles. How many additional red marbles must be added to the 24 marbles already in the bag so that the probability of randomly drawing a red marble is 3/5? The probability equals the number of favorable outcomes divided by the number of all possible outcomes. If we use X to represent the number of additional red marbles that must be added to the original bag, then number of favorable outcomes should be equal to the 8 original red marbles plus the X additional red marbles. And the number of all possible outcomes should be equal to the original 24 marbles add the X additional red marbles, and equals the probability 3/5. By using the cross product rule, we get 5 times 8 plus X equals 3 times, in parentheses, 24 plus X. Then simplified, 40 plus 5X equals 72 plus 3X. So 2X equals 32. X equals 16. So we should choose option B. Question 40. At Sweet Stuff Fresh Produce, the price of a bag of grapes depends on the total number of bags purchased at one time, as shown in the table below. In 2 trips to Sweet Stuff this week, Janelle purchased 3 bags of grapes on Monday and 4 bags of grapes on Wednesday. How much money would Janelle have saved if she had instead purchased 7 bags of grapes in one trip on Monday? So from the table, we can tell the first trip, 3 bags. Each bag, $3. So it's 3 times 3. The second trip is 4 bags. So 4 bags, each bag, $2.8. So 3 times 3 plus 4 times 2.8. Then minus in one trip by 7 bags. If in one trip by 7 bags is 7 to 9, which is 2.6. So 7 times 2.6. Then we just need to find the difference of them. So the first trip is $20.2. The second trip is $18.2. So the difference is $2. We should choose option J. Question 15. What is 3% of 4.14 times 10 to the power of 4? So 4.14 times 10 to the power of 4 times 3%. So 4.14 times 10 to the power of 4 times, we will write the percentage into a decimal. So then we multiply 4.14 by 0.03. So we get 0.1242. And the times 10 to the power of 4, which is 1, and add 4 zeros. Then move the decimal 4 places to the right. We get 1,242. We should choose option A. Question 16. What value of x satisfies the equation -3 times in parentheses 4x minus 5 equals 2 times in parentheses 1 minus 5x? So simplify the equation, we get -12x plus 15 equals 2 times 2 minus 10x. Then combine the like terms, -12x plus 10x equals 2 minus 15. And the left side is -2x equals -13. So x should be equal to 13 divided by 2, We should choose option K. Question 16. Question 20. For a given set of data, the standard score Z corresponding to the raw score X is given by Z equals X minus mu divided by sigma, where mu is the mean of the set and the sigma is the standard deviation. If for a set of scores mu equals 78 and sigma equals 6, which of the following is the raw score X corresponding to Z equals 2? So we just need to plug in the given information. So Z equals 2. And X we don't know. Mu equals 78 and sigma equals 6. So 2 times 6 is 12. So 12 equals X minus 78. So X should be equal to 12 plus 78, which is 90. We should choose option F. Question 17. In right triangle ABC shown below, the given lengths are in millimeters. What is sine A? Sine A equals the opposite side divided by the hypotenuse. And the opposite side of angle A is BC. And the hypotenuse is AC. So plug in the given information. BC equals 7, AC equals 9. So we should choose option D. Question 21. In the figure below, A, B, C, and D lie on the circle centered at O. Which of the following does not appear in the figure? So option A, acute triangle. Triangle ABO is acute triangle. Option B, equilateral triangle. Triangle ABO is equilateral triangle. Triangle C, option C, isosceles triangle. Triangle DOC and the triangle ABO are all isosceles triangles. Option D, right triangle. Triangle DOC is a right triangle. So we should choose option E, scalene triangle. We don't have. Question 18. 27 over 64 to the power of negative 2/3 equals first 27 equals 3 to the power of 3. So we rewrite 27 as 3 cubed. 64 equals 4 cubed. So we rewrite 64 as 4 cubed. Continue. And 3 cubed divided by 4 cubed, we can rewrite it as 3/4 to the power of 3, then to the power of negative 2/3. And by the power rule of exponent, this expression should be equal to 3/4 to the power of 3 times negative 2/3, which is negative 2. So 3/4 to the power of negative 2, according to the negative exponent rule, it is equal to 1 over 3/4 squared, which is 9/16. So 1 divided by 9/16 equals 16 over 9. So we should choose option J. 22. What is the slope of a line in the standard xy coordinate plane that is parallel to x plus 5i equals 9? So first we need to rewrite the equation in the slope-intercept form. So phi y equals negative x plus 9. So y equals negative 1/5 x plus 9 over 5. So from the slope-intercept form, we can rate the slope directly. So m equals -1/5. That is the slope of the line. Because the two lines are parallel, that's why the second line, the slope is still -1/5. So we should choose option G. Question 19. Lotto begins at his back door and walks 8 yards east, 6 yards north, 12 yards east, and 5 yards north to the barn door. About how many yards less would he walk if he could walk directly from the back door to the barn door? So A represent the barn door. So from the back door, first walks 8 yards to the east, then 6 yards to the north, then 12 yards east, then 5 yards north. Then he reached the barn door. I use C to represent a barn door. And if he walk directly from the back door to the barn door, the distance should be equal to the length of AC. And from the graph, we can tell AB equals 8 plus 12, which is 20. And BC equals 5 plus 6, which is 11. So in order to find the length of AC, we need to use the Pythagorean theorem. So AC squared equals CB squared plus AB squared. So AC squared equals AB squared, which is 20 squared, plus BC 11 squared. Then we do the calculation and find the value of AC is 22.8. It is about 22.8. Continue. If Lotto walks in the first way, so the total distance should be equal to 8 plus 6 plus 12 plus 5, which is 31. Now the next step, we just need to find the difference of that two numbers. So 31 minus 22.8, which is 8.2. So the closest number is 8. We should choose option A. Question 23. Given y equals x over x minus 1 and x greater than 1, which of the following is a possible value of y? So first, we need to rewrite the equation as a function of x in terms of y. So we try. So y times x minus 1 should be equal to x. Then xy minus y should be equal to x. And the xy minus x equals y. And factor an x out of the expression, we get x times, in parentheses, y minus 1 equals y. So x should be equal to y divided by y minus 1. According to the given information, x is greater than 1. And x equals y over x minus 1, which means y minus 1 is greater than 1. Then solve this inequality. So move number 1 to the left and flip the sign. So y over y minus 1 greater than 0. So y over y minus 1 minus, we rewrite 1 as y minus 1 over y minus 1. It's the same common denominator, y minus 1. Then subtract the numerator, we get y minus, in parentheses, y minus 1. Then simplify it, y minus y plus 1, which is 1. The denominator is y minus 1. Is greater than 0. Therefore, y minus 1 should be greater than 0. So y greater than 1. So option A, B, C, D, E. only option E greater than 1. So we should choose option E. Question 24. The set of all positive integers that are divisible by both 15 and 35 is infinite. What is the least positive integer in this set? So question 24 is requiring us to find the value of least common multiple. So 15, 35 divided by 5. The common factor is 5. So divided by 5 is 3, 7. So the least common multiple equals 5 times 3 times 7, which is 105. So we should choose option H. Question 25. In triangle ABC shown below, the measure of angle A is 58 degrees, and segment AB is congruent to segment AC. What is the measure of angle C? Because segment AB is congruent to segment AC, therefore angle B is congruent to angle C. So this is an isosceles triangle. Therefore, the measure of angle B should be equal to the measure of angle C. So 2 angle C plus 58 degrees should be equal to 180 degrees. So 2 angle C should be equal to 180 degrees minus 58 degrees, which is 122 degrees. So the measure of angle C should be equal to 61 degrees. So we should choose option D. Question 28. The rectangular prism shown below was built by alternating congruent black cubes and white cubes, such that 2 cubes of the same color have at most one edge touching. So from first sentence, we should recognize that the number of white cubes should be equal to the number of black cubes. Question: what is the total number of white cubes that were used to build the prism? So the total number of cubes of this rectangular prism should be equal to 5 times 6 times 7, which is 210. So the number of white cubes should be equal to 1/2 times 100 times 210, which is 105. So there is 100 and there are 105 white cubes. We should choose option H. Question 26. About 1.48 times 10 to the power of 8 square kilometers of Earth's surface is land. The rest, about 3.63 times 10 to the power of 8 square kilometers, is water. If a returning space capsule lands at a random point on Earth's surface, which of the following is the best estimate of the probability that the space capsule will land in water? So this is a geometric probability problem. So the probability is equal to the favorable area divided by the whole area. In our question is the area of water and the area of the Earth. The area of the water is 3.63 times 10 to the power of 8. And the whole area, the area of the Earth, is equal to 3.63 times 10 to the power of 8 plus 1.48 times 10 to the power of 8. This one is the area of water. This one is the area of land. So after we divide out the common factor, which is 10 to the power of 8, we get 3.63 divided by 5.11, which is about 71%. We should choose option G. One side of square ABCD has a length of 12 meters. A certain rectangle whose area is equal to the area of ABCD has a width of 8 meters. What is the length in meters of the rectangle? So the square ABCD, the area should be equal to the side squared, which is 12 squared. The area of the rectangle is equal to the length times the width. I use L to represent the length of the rectangle. So 8 times L is the area of the rectangle. So 29 is a typical equal area question. So the area of the square is equal to the area of a rectangle, which means 12 squared should be equal to 8 times L. So L should be equal to 12 squared divided by 8, which is 144 divided by 8 is 18. We should choose option C. Question 30. The average of a list of 4 numbers is 92. A new list of 4 numbers has the same first 3 numbers as the original list, but the fourth number in the original list is 40, and the fourth number in the new list is 48. What is the average of this new list of numbers? So the average of the original list of 4 numbers is 92. Which means the sum should be equal to 4 numbers times the average, which is 368. That is the sum of the 4 numbers of the first list. And the new list still 4 numbers, but the fourth number is different. I use the A, B, C, D to represent the 4 numbers of the original list, A, B, C, E to represent the 4 numbers of new list. And the fourth number of the first list is 40. So the first 3 numbers, the sum should be equal to the sum of 4 numbers minus the fourth number, which is 368 minus the fourth number, which is 328. So 328 is the sum of the 3 numbers of the first list. Continue. The new list, the first 3 numbers are the same, which means the sum of the first 3 numbers is still 328. And the fourth number is 48, which means the sum of the new list is equal to 328 plus the fourth number 48, which is 376. That is the sum of the 4 numbers in the new list. The question is, what is the average of the new list of numbers? So the new average should be equal to the sum divided by 4. And the sum of the new list is 376 divided by 4, which is 94. We should choose option H. 27. On the first 7 statistics tests of the semester, Jamal scored 61, 76, 79, 80, 80, 84, and 91. The mean, median, and mode of his scores were 79, 80, and 80 respectively. On the 8th statistics test, Jamal scored 90. How do the mean, median, and mode of all 8 of his scores compared to the mean, median, and mode of his first 7 scores. Because the eighth number is 90, which is greater than the average of the original list. Therefore, the mean of the new list is greater. So we eliminate the option A. After we analyze the new list, we can tell the mode is still 80 and the median is still 80. So we should choose option E. Mean greater, median mode equal. 31. The vector I represents 1 mile per hour east, and the vector J represents 1 mile per hour north. Maria is jogging south at 12 miles per hour. One of the following vectors represents Maria's velocity in miles per hour. Which one? Since J represents a mile per hour north, therefore negative G represents 1 mile per hour south. And Maria's velocity is 12 miles per hour. Therefore, we use negative 12J to represent 12 miles per hour south. So we should choose option B. Question 32. 4 identical glasses are shown below. One glass is empty, and the other 3 glasses are 1/4 full, 1/2 full, and 4/5 full of water, respectively. If the water were redistributed equally among 4 glasses, what fractional part of each glass would be filled? So the total amount of water equals 1/4 plus 1/2 plus 4/5. Then we rewrite them with the common denominator, which is 20. So 5/20 plus 10/20 plus 16/20, which is 5 plus 10 plus 16 is 31/20. Then the water were distributed equally among the 4 glasses. So each glass equals the total amount divided by 4. And total amount is 31/20. Then divided by 4 equals 31/20 times the reciprocal 1/4 equals 31 divided by 80. So we should choose option K. Use the following information to answer questions 35 to 38. Many humans carry the gene YQ77. The YQ test determines with 100% accuracy whether a human carries YQ77. If a YQ test result is positive, the human carries the YQ77 gene. If a YQ test result is negative, the human does not carry YQ77. Sam designed a less expensive test for YQ77 called the SAM77 test. It produces some incorrect results. To determine the accuracy of the SAM77 test, both tests were administered to 1,000 volunteers. The results from this administration are summarized in the table below. So, question 35. It cost $2,500 to administer each YQ test and $50 to administer each SAM77 test. What was the total cost to administer both tests to all the volunteers? From the given information, we know the cost of one person is equal to $2,500 for YQ test and $50 for SAM70 test. So the cost of each person is $2,550. And the total cost should be equal to $2,550 for each person times the number of people, which is 1,000. So the total cost is 2,550,000. We should choose option D. Question 36. What percent of the volunteers actually carry YQ 77? We need to go back to the table. The number of volunteers who really carry YQ 77 is those who have positive YQ test, and the number is 590 plus 25. So here is 615. And the total number of volunteers is 1,000. So the percentage is equal to 615 divided by 1,000 times 100%, which is 61.5%. So 36, we should choose option J. Question 37. For how many volunteers did the SAM-77 test give an incorrect result? Let's go back to the table. So first, 25 volunteers who carry vacuum test or who carry vacuum gene, but got a negative result. Another part is 10 volunteers who don't have vacuum gene, but got a positive SAM-77 result. So the total number is 10 plus 25, which is equal to 35. So 35 volunteers who got the inaccurate SAM-77 result. So question 7, we should choose option C. Question 38. One of the volunteers whose SAM-77 test result was positive will be chosen at random to the nearest 0.001. What is the probability the chosen volunteer does not possess YQ 77? The probability equals the number of favorable outcomes divided by the number of all possible outcomes. In our question, the number of all outcomes is because the question side, the person is chosen from those whose SAM-77 test result was positive. So let's go back to the table. The number of volunteers whose result is positive in SAM-77 test is 590 plus 10. So the number of all possible outcomes is 600. Let's go back to the question. And the number of favorable outcomes is, we see the question, decide to the nearest 0.001, what is the probability the chosen volunteer does not possess YQ 77? So we need to find out the number of volunteers who don't possess YQ 77. So of the 600 people, 10 of them don't have a vacuum gene. So the number of favorable outcomes is 10 divided by the 600 people. We get 10 divided by 600, simplified is 1/60. it's about 0.017. So question 8, we should choose the option F. Question 33. Aurelio is purchasing carpet tiles to cover an area of his living room floor that is 8 1/3 feet wide by 10 feet long. Each carpet tile is a square 20 inches wide by 20 inches long. What is the minimum number of carpet tiles that Aurelio must purchase to cover this area of his living room floor? This is another area equal problem. So the area of his living floor equals 8 1/3 feet times 10 feet long. But we should notice that there are two different units. One is in feet, one is in inches. So we determine to convert feet into inches. Since 1 foot equals 12 inches, so 8 1/3 feet equals 8 1/3 times 12 inches times 10 times 12 inches. So we simplify the expression 25/3 times 12 times 10 times 12, which is 120. And 3 and 12 simplify, we get 4 times 12, which is 100. 100 times 120 is 12,000. And the area of tiles equals the area of each tile times the number of tiles. So the area of each tile from the given information is 20 inches wide, 20 inches long. So 20 squared times, we use x to represent the number of tiles. So 20 squared x should be equal to 12,000. So x should be equal to 12,000 divided by 20 squared, which is 400. So x should be equal to 30. Question 33, we should choose option D. Question 34. In the standard xy coordinate plane, a circle with its center at 8 and 5 and a radius of 9 coordinate units has which of the following equations? The standard form of a circle is x minus h squared plus y minus b squared equals r squared, in which h represents the x coordinate of the center, b represents the y coordinate of the center. Then we plug in the given information. We get x minus 8 squared plus y minus 5 squared equals r squared, which is 9 squared, equals 81. So we should choose option A. Question 34. Question 39. Given matrices x and y, which of the following matrices is x times y? X times y equals -1 times -2 plus 0 times -1. So we get -1 times -2, which is 2, plus 0 is 2. So we should choose option D. Question 40. Regardless of how the graph is oriented in the standard xy coordinate plane, no graph in one of the following categories has a vertical line of symmetry. Which one? The option F, J, H, J. Line, square, pentagon, and parallelogram. We can tell if they are in the position displayed in the picture. They all have a vertical line of symmetry. But the option K, scaling triangle. No matter how we position it, it can't have a vertical line of symmetry. Note that option J, parallelogram. The rectangle is a special parallelogram. So option J is also our answer. So which one it doesn't have a vertical line of symmetry? We should choose option K. Question 44. A barrel contains 25 liters of solvent mixture. That is 40% solvent and 60% water. Lee will add pure solvent to the barrel without removing any of the mixture currently in the barrel, so that the new mixture will contain 50% solvent and 50% water. How many liters of pure solvent should Lee add to create this new mixture? From the table, we can tell the first, we see the original mixture. The solvent is 25 times 40%, and the water is 25 times 60%. And the total amount of the solution is 25 liters. After we add X liters of pure solvent, we use X to represent the number of liters of pure solvent we add. The new solvent, the new solution, the solvent equals 25 times 40% plus X liters of pure solvent. And the water still 25 times 60%. But the total amount of the solution this time becomes 25 plus X liters. According to the given information, the new mixture will contain 50% solvent and 50% water, which means the amount of solvent is equals the amount of water. So 25 times 40%, which is 0.4 plus X. This is the amount of solvent in the new mixture. Should be equal to the amount of water in the new mixture, which is 25 times 6% is 0.6. So 25 times 0.4 is 10. So 10 plus X equals 25 times 0.6 is 15. So X should be equal to 5. So question 44, we choose option G, 5. Question 45, for all X is not equal to plus minus Y, X over X plus Y plus Y over X minus Y equals what? The common denominator is xy times x plus y. So we rewrite two fractions with the common denominator x minus y times x plus y. So it equals x times x minus y divided by x minus y plus times x plus y plus y times x plus y divided by x minus y times x plus y. And then simplify the numerator, we get x squared minus x times y. The second numerator is y times x plus y squared. Next step, we add the numerators. We get x squared minus xy plus xy is 0. Then plus x squared. And x plus y times x minus y equals x squared minus y squared. So the final answer is x squared plus y squared divided by x squared minus y squared. So we should choose option E. Question 41. The equation 24x squared plus 2x equals 15 has two solutions. What is the greater of the two solutions? The first step, shift the number 15 to the left and flip the sign. We get 24x squared plus 2x minus 15 equals 0. Then by using the quadratic formula to find the value of x. So x equals negative 2 plus minus the square root of 2 squared minus 4 times 24 minus times negative 15 divided by 2 times 24. We get negative 2 plus minus 38 divided by 48. So the first value of x is equal to negative 2 plus 38 divided by 48. So it is 36 divided by 48. And after we simplify it, we get 3 over 4. So this is the greater solution. The second solution equals negative 2 minus 38. Divided by 48. So it's equal to negative 40 divided by 48. After we simplify it, we get negative 5 over 6. That is the smaller one. So we should choose option A. 42. Which of the following expressions is equal to sine 60 degrees times cosine 30 degrees plus cosine 60 degrees times sine 30 degrees? According to the sum and difference formula, I wrote here sine alpha plus beta equals sine alpha cosine beta plus cosine alpha sine beta. According to the formula, we know the expression should be equal to sine 60 degrees plus 30 degrees. So we should choose option J. 46. Mary, James, and Carlos sold the 1/3 page advertisements for the school year book. Mary sold twice as many as Carlos did, and James sold 3 times as many as Mary did. What fraction of this advertisement did Carlos sell? From the table, we can tell if we use X to represent the number of advertisements that Carlos sold. Mary sold 12, so Mary is 2x. And James sold 3 times as many as Mary did, and Mary 2x, so James should be equal to 3 times 2x, which is 6x. So the total number of advertisements 3 people sold should be equal to x plus 2x plus 3 times 2x, which is 9x. Therefore, the fraction of these advertisements that Carlos sold should be equal to x divided by the total 9x, should be equal to 1/9. We should choose option F. 43. What is the area in square units of a circle that has a circumference 12 pi units long? I drew a circle on the left. If we use R to represent the radius of the circle, according to the formula for circumference, C should be equal to 2 pi times R. And from the given information, the circumference of the circle is 12 pi. Therefore, r should be equal to 6. The area for a circle equals pi r squared equals pi times 6 squared. We got from the last step equals 36 pi. So we should choose option D. Question 47. In window display at a flower shop, there are 3 spots for a plant each. To fill the 3 spots, Emily has 6 plants to select from, each of a different type. Selecting from the 6 plants, Emily can make how many possible display arrangements with 1 plant in each spot? So question 47 is a statistic problem which requires us to find the number of permutation that if we select 3 plants from 6 distinctive plants. So we can use the formula for permutation. I wrote the formula below. So according to the formula, the number of permutation should be equal to 6p2 equals 6 factorial divided by 6 minus 3 factorial. And 6 factorial equals 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. 6 minus 3 factorial should be equal to 3 times 2 times 1. After dividing out the common factors, we get the permutation. The number of permutation is 120. So we should choose option D. The quadratic function f and the triangle MPQ are graphed in the standard xy coordinate plane below. Points M2A5B, N4A9B, and P6A5B are on function. Point Q4A0 is not on function. 48. In terms of A and B, what is the area in square coordinate units of triangle MPQ? I labeled 4 points M and PQ. I also drew the altitude of triangle MPQ from the vertex Q to the opposite side MP, and the point of intersection is D. According to the formula, the area of triangle MPQ should be equal to 1/2 times the base, which is the length of line segment MP, times altitude or height, which is equal to the length of QD. So the length of MP should be equal to 6A minus 2A, which is 4A. And the length of QD should be equal to 5B. So the area should be equal to 1/2 times 4A times 5B, which is 10AB. So option 48, we should choose option G. Question 49. Point M will remain fixed, and point Q will move to the right along the x-axis. As Q continues to move to the right, which of the following statements describes what will happen to the slope of the line segment MQ? When Q move to the right, we can tell from the graph the rise stay the same, 2A, because the slope equals the rise over run. The rise keeps the same, 2A, but the run we can tell from negative 2A to negative 3A, negative 4A, negative 4, 5A, negative 8A. We can tell the run decrease. So the fraction, if the denominator decrease, the fraction should be increasing. So the slope is increasing, but never be positive. So we should choose option D. It will increase, but never be positive. Question 50. One of the following values is equal to L of file A, which one? From the same graph, we can tell L of file A should be equal to 8B. Which point has the same y coordinate? Obviously, it's the point with the same y coordinate, 8B, and x coordinate is 3A. So f of 3A should be equal to 8B. So we should choose option F. Question 51. 12 jurors are needed for an upcoming trial. The diagram below illustrates a part of the process of jury selection. The 12 jurors will be selected from a jury pool of about 60 people. The court records show a trend that only 40% of the people who are summoned for jury duty actually appear, and that of the people who appear, 1/3 are excused. If this same trend continues, how many people should be summoned to have as close as possible to 60 people in the jury pool? From the given information, we can tell of the people who are summoned, only 40% will appear. And of the 40% who will appear, 1/3 will be excused. So 40% times 1/3 will be excused. And so 40% times 2/3 will go into the jury pool. And the question is, how many people should be summoned? So if we use X to represent the number of people that should be summoned, we can use 40% times 2/3 times X to represent the number of people go into the jury pool. And the number is 60. So 40% times 2/3 times X should be equal to 60. So X should be equal to 60 divided by 40%, which is 0.4 times 2/3. After we do the calculation, the value of X equals 225. So we should choose option D. Question 52. What is the 275th digit after the decimal point in the repeating decimal 0.6295? So the repeating decimal 0.6295, we can tell 6295 is a cycle. So every 4 digits is a cycle, and the period is 4. So if we use 275 divided by 4, we get 68 cycles and the remainder 3, which means after 68 cycles, we should count another 3 digits. So 1, 2, 3. So we should choose option K, 9. Question 53. Given that f of x equals x squared minus 4 and g of x equals x plus 3, what are all the values of x for which f of g of x equals 0? So since g of x equals x plus 3, so we substitute x plus 3 for g of x. We get f of g of x equals f of x plus 3. And f of x equals x squared minus 4. So f of x plus 3 should be equal to x plus 3 squared minus 4. And simplified, we get x squared plus the 6x plus 9 minus 4, x squared plus 6x plus 5, and equals 0. And after we factor this quadratic equation, we get x plus 1 times x plus 5. So 1 and 5, two factors, equals 0. So the two solutions, one is x equals -1, and another one equals -5. So we should choose option A. Question 54. Given that p is a positive number, n is a negative number, and the absolute value of p is greater than the absolute value of n, which of the following expressions has the greatest value? So we can select two numbers, one for p, one for n, that satisfy the given condition. So we choose p equals 3 and n equals -2. Then evaluate each expression. So the first one, p minus n divided by p is 3 minus -2 divided by 3, which is 5/3. And the second one, p minus n divided by n, p is 3, n is -2, so 3 minus -2 divided by -2 is 5 divided by -2. The absolute value of it is 5/2. The third one, 3 minus 2 divided by 3 minus -2, we get 1/5. The fourth one, 3 plus -2 divided by 3, we get 1/3. And the last one, 3 plus -2 divided by -2, which is equal to the absolute value of 1 divided by -2, which is 1/2. So option A is the greatest value. Question 55. If I equals the square root of -1, then the expression equals what? Since I equals the square root of -1, so I squared would be equal to the square root of -1 squared, which is equal to -1. And I cubed should be equal to I squared times another I, which is -1 times I equals -I. And I to the fourth should be equal to I cubed times another I, which is equal to -I times I equals -I squared. And I squared equals -1. So it's negative times -1 equals 1. And I to the fifth should be equal to I to the fourth times another I, which is equal to I. Then we plug in the four values. So the expression equals I plus -1 plus -I divided by -I plus 1 plus I. And I plus -1 plus -I equals -1. And the denominator -I plus 1 plus I equals 1. So -1 divided by 1 is -1. So question 55, we choose option B. Question 58. A cosine function is shown in the standard xy coordinate plane below. One of the following equations represents this function. Which one? For a trigonometric function that was written in the form y equals a cosine bx plus c plus d, a represents the amplitude. So from the graph, we can tell the amplitude is 3. So a equals 3. And the period equals 2 pi over b. And from the graph, we can tell the period is from negative pi over 2 to pi over 2, which is the pi. So 2 pi over b equals pi, b equals 2. So we can have our equation y equals 3 times cosine 2x. So we should choose option K. Question 56. In one of the following graphs in the standard xy coordinate plane, the solution set to the system of inequalities below is shown shaded. Which one? So the first boundary line is x plus 2y equals 6. After we rearrange it, we get y equals -1/2 x plus 3. Since the slope is negative, so we should eliminate option J. Continue. Since the first inequality is less than or equal to, so we should not use a dashed line to draw the boundary line. So we should eliminate option J. Continue. The second inequality, the boundary line is 3x squared plus 3y squared equals 12. After we simplified, we get x squared plus y squared equals 4, which is equal to 2 squared. So the radius equals 2. So we can tell the y-intercept is greater than the radius, which means the y-intercept is above radius 2. So we should eliminate option F. So now we need to choose our answer from option K and H. Continue. We need to find the area defined by the first inequality. We use a point to test which half represents the area x plus 2y less than or equal to 6. We use the point of origin to test it. So we get x0 plus 0 less than or equal to 6, which is a true statement, which means we should shade the area includes the point of origin 0 and 0. So we should choose option K. Next question, 59. The figure below shows a flying kite. At a certain moment, the kite string forms an angle of elevation of 75 from point A on the ground. At the same moment, the angle of the elevation of that kite at point B, 240 feet from A on level ground, is 45 degrees. What is the length in feet of the string? So in the triangle, I use C to represent the vertex of the triangle. So in the triangle ABC, angle A is 75 degrees, angle B is 45 degrees, which means angle C is 180 degrees minus 75 degrees minus 45 degrees, which is equal to 60 degrees. And the question is, what is the length of the string? Now we have 3 angles. We also have one length, which is AB. We can use sine law. So according to the sine law, AB divided by sine C should be equal to AC divided by sine B. AB is 240 and C is 60 degrees. So sine 60 degrees equals AC, we don't know, divided by sine B, which is 40 degrees. So divided by sine 45 degrees. And sine 60 degrees, we know, is equal to the square root of 3 divided by 2. And sine 45 degrees equals the square root of 2 divided by 2. So now we need to find the value of AC. So according to the cross product rule, 240 times square root of 2 divided by 2 should be equal to AC times square root of 3 divided by 2. So AC should be equal to 240 times square root of 2 divided by 2 divided by square root of 3 over 2. We get AC equals 240 times square root of 2 divided by square root of 3. So now we need to rationalize the denominator by multiplying by the square root of 3. So AC should be equal to 240 square root 2 times square root of 3 divided by square root of 3 times square root of 3, which is equal to 240 times square root of 6 divided by 3, which is 80 times the square root of 6. We should choose option B. Question 57. Let A, B, C, and D be real numbers, given that AC equals 1. B plus C divided by D is undefined, which means D equals 0. And A, B, C equals D. Since we know AC equals 1, A times C equals 1, so B should be equal to D. Now we can tell we have 3 conclusions. One is D equals 0. Another one is AC equals 1 and the B equals D. So which of the following must be true? So option A, we check every option. A equals 0 or C equals 0. Since A times C equals 1, so neither of them can be 0. So option A is not correct. Option B, A equals 1 and C equals 1. Since AC equals 1, so it is possible, but not must be true. So we should, option B is not correct. Option C, A equals negative C. So A times C equals 1 doesn't mean A equals negative C. So option C is not correct. They are not opposite numbers. Option D, B equals 0. Since D equals 0 and B equals D, so B also should be equal to 0. So option D is correct. Option E, B plus C equals 0. We are not sure. We only know B equals 0. Question 60. If a publisher charges $15 for the first copy of the book that is ordered and $12 for each additional copy, which of the following expressions represents the copy of Y books? So the question uses uses Y to represent the number of books ordered. So for the first copy of book is $15. And the number of additional copies should be equal to y minus 1. And each additional copy is $12. So we have 15 plus, in parentheses, y minus 1 times 12 to represent the cost of y books. We simplify the expression. We can have 15 plus 12y minus 12. So 15 minus 12 is 3. So we get 12y plus 3. We should choose option F, question 6.